Many Kenyan parents would love that the kids have the best of everything: best healthcare, best education, and even best housing. Today on the show, we speak particularly about best education and its search for best, or rather the best education opportunities for their kids. Parents have gone above and beyond to send even their kids abroad or overseas to access education. Hello and welcome to Globe Traktion. My name is Pasil Telewa. Today on the show, we focus specifically on education abroad as we talk about the quest for higher education abroad, even in as much as so many other parents or families have gotten duped and scammed in all these scenarios. We speak to one, Bob Mwiti, a founder of Kenya Airlift program, who shares with us what he's been able to do with his organization, besides what it is that the challenges they've gone through. I hope you enjoy Bob Mwiti's story.
Meet Bob Mwiti, a true inspiration who has transformed adversity into triumph. Bob embodies resilience, determination, and a generous spirit. In 2009, he embarked on a journey as an international student in the US, overcoming 4 visa denials with unwavering determination. His story doesn't stop at success. It's all about lifting others while climbing. Bob not only became a system analyst at Fortune 500 companies, but also co-founded the Kenya Airlift program. This program guides and mentors aspiring international students, offering education and invaluable support. The initiative is a ray of hope for those especially from Kenya seeking education and opportunities abroad. In 2021, his commitment earned him the Global Impact Award from the International Council of Educational Professionals, (ISEP), for his outstanding contributions. African Warrior magazine recognized Bob in 2018 among the top 40 most inspiring Kenyan men living in the US. This honor underlines his ability to motivate and lead by example, encouraging others to conquer obstacles and pursue their dreams with zeal. Join us on Globe Traktion today as we delve into Bob Mwiti's story, a tale of perseverance, determination, and creating a positive impact as shared by our host, Pasil Telewa.
I'm interested to know Bob, the individual, as opposed to what Bob does, but of course I'm going to get to that as well, so that people can be able to merge these two Bobs together.
Yes.
So who is Bob?
Bob was born and raised in Meru County. I'm actually a village boy.
You don't look like it.
I know, right? But I'm typical village boy, to be honest with you. I grew up in the village called Gikumene. I grew up with my grandparents. My dad and mom, they were still in school when they got me.
So you are their first baby?
Yes. And, it was one of those things that happen where maybe you are not even ready for it, because my dad was in Form 2. My mom, she had just finished, I don't know, those days it was class 8 or class 7. Yeah, so I was born out of that kind of a situation. But then again, after that, I stayed with my grandparents. They are the one who really took me to school. My dad continued with his education, so I really never had a chance of meeting him in my early life. And my mom also, because a few years down the line, she got married somewhere else, so I never used to live with her. So I was brought up by my grandparents. I went to the local village public primary school called Gikumene Primary School. I did very well in class 8. I scored an average of an A.
Bright
at the time.
student.
Yeah, I used to love school. And in fact, actually, my dream at the time was just to come to Nairobi. And in fact, actually, even when we were choosing our schools, that KCPE, mna choose shule yenye utaenda.
Yes.
So I had chosen the Nairobi school because of the fact that the school was in Nairobi and had the name Nairobi.
Nairobi, yeah.
Yeah, so I chose that school. And actually, I got admission to Nairobi school.
Is that where you did your high school?
No, Unfortunately, because of poverty, coming from a very humble family, I couldn't raise the amount that was needed for me to get into Nairobi school, which was devastating for me actually. So my grandparents ended up finding for me a school in Kobo, in Meru, called Kobo High School. It's one of the good schools around east of Mount Kenya region. And that's where I ended up going. So I went to Nkobo High School, finished in 2001, passed well, I scored a B+, got admission to go to University of Nairobi for a Bachelor of Science in Mathematics program. But I was there for a few months. Then I left and joined Strathmore University. And actually that's where I completed my, my bachelor's. I did a Bachelor of Commerce degree in Accounting and Finance. Then after that, I got an opportunity to go and study abroad. But actually how I went, it was through my dad now.
Now let's just hold that up.
Yes.
While at the University of Nairobi, yeah, you also told me that you went through Strathmore.
Yes.
Yeah, how did that change?
Well, so what happened when we joined University of Nairobi, there was a strike for lecturers. So we were sent home after like 3 or so months. Then I was like, well, you know, the way there's that history of universities, public universities going on strike, and then you guys being there for like 5-6 years.
Yes.
So it was kind of like, I felt like the same kind of vibe. Hapa tutakaa mpaka, you know. So I talked to my dad, and he was like, well, let's look for a nice private university.
Great.
Yes.
So Bob, family, how old are you? How is everything going right now?
Well, I just turned 40. I have a family
Happy
back in
belated.
the US.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I have a family in the US. I'm married and I have 2 kids. One is 11 years old. I have a little daughter who is, she's going to turn 5. Unfortunately, I didn't come with them to Kenya. I've been here for the last 3 months, you know, trying to work on our business and all that. But they're back in the US. Yeah, so school and all that.
There is everything about you.
Yes.
And we cannot avoid talking about it. You are also the director for Kenya Airlift program.
Correct.
Are you the CEO as well?
Yes.
Are you the founder as well?
Co-founder, yes.
How did you think about Kenya Airlift program?
Very good question. So when I went to the US, there was a lot of challenges that I personally faced, even though maybe money was not one of those things. But I felt like there was a lot of other really bright, because you see, I grew up in a very humble family with my grandparents. There was a lot of things that I didn't afford at the time. So I know what poverty is, you know, because I couldn't even go to Nairobi school, you know. So I knew the challenges that mostly typical Kenyans face for them to go and study abroad, which is mostly funding. You know, for a master's program, you need at least about 5 million Kenya shillings. Not many families can afford that kind of money. That whole process also, it's very challenging. You need someone who can hold your hand, show you the way, you know, help you pick the right programs, the ones that you want to study based on your, you know, career aspirations and
The
things
right
like those.
institution?
Yes, yeah, the right institution. And also, when you go to the US, for example, as an international student, you are going on a student visa. Then, if you really want to live and work there, how do you transition? How do you do that? So those are some of the things that I actually faced because I went there as a student. So I was lucky enough, once I was graduated from school, I was lucky enough to get into the tech space. I got trained as a systems analyst, and I used to work for Fortune 500 company in Tampa, Florida. When I got into that tech space also, I realized there's a lot of money. I mean, people really make good money when it comes to those people who solve really complex problems for companies, especially in the tech space.
Yeah.
So I realized mostly it was Indians, you know, Chinese, not many of our people in the space. And I was like, man, I mean, we really need to see more of our people into this space. And actually that's when the idea of starting my own consulting company came, and, you know, I quit the job after 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, quit a very well-paying job. After 5 years, started my own organization. And so basically what we try to do is we try to help mostly African immigrants find opportunities to study abroad. And out of that, I thought of the Kenya Airlift program. One, because of the fact that when I started that consulting company, what we were doing at the time, at the beginning, was mostly doing training programs for job skills. But then again, I was not getting really good kind of like students, candidates for our training program. So I thought, where can I get these people? Maybe from Kenya, they can come through the process, maybe come through school, help them get through school also. For school, they need funding. I have to figure out where to get the money that is needed for you to study. On average, as a master's student, you need around 5 million Kenya shillings.
Is that inclusive of everything?
Yeah, that's tuition and living expenses. If you are going to a relatively affordable university, that's what it cost you. And I can bet you there's not many Kenyans out there who have that kind of money sitting somewhere for them to be able to go to school. So I had to figure out, where do they get money? So I came up with the Kenya Lift program, where we help brilliant Kenyan students pursue graduate studies abroad, mostly STEM designated programs. STEM basically means science, technology, engineering, math.
And math, yeah.
But our emphasis is mostly technology, because we are more or less like a education and technology consulting company. So we want people who are more interested into STEM careers. And so what we do is we facilitate their relocation, tuition, and living expenses.
So what is the eligibility criteria for somebody to be able to be absorbed by Kenya Airlift program?
Very good question. So we are very, very strict in terms of those students that we try to get into our program, because of the fact that, doing a STEM designated program is not that easy. So you really need to get the best brains out there. Yeah? And also because of the fact that you don't want someone to do something that they are not interested in, right? So we really check the academic qualifications of the student. At a minimum, you need to have scored at least a B mean grade in KCSE, with a B in math or physics. Once you get into the program, you are supposed to do an exam called GMAT or GRE.
Yes.
If you have all those qualifications, you get into the program, you pass that exam, we'll take care of your relocation cost, tuition and living expenses.
When you mentioned about living expenses and all of that,
yes,
what does your help entail? I want you to be very, categorical with me, because there is a lot of, scamming online.
Absolutely.
About Kenyans pursuing education, opportunities abroad.
Yes.
And I'd like to know that from your program, what is it that people need to know, so that people are not expecting what is not in the program, or people are not, expecting less of what you're promising them.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's very, very important that really someone understand exactly how the program really works,
Yeah.
so that you don't have someone joining and then later on they start saying, oh, I didn't know about this and this and this. Now, for example, apart from just the qualifications, which actually I said it's a B, with a B in math, physics, whatever,
Yes.
we'll take care of your location, tuition and living expenses. But if you come to us and you had a C+, you can
Yes.
actually come through the process, but your part, your relocation, you actually have to take care of it. Air tickets, visa fees, service, and all that. We fund up to a tune of $100,000 per student. By the way, so far we've been able to facilitate 1.5 billion Kenya shillings in terms of unsecured student loans.
Since when? Since which
Since
year?
inception, 2018.
How many students so far?
So far, we've been able to take more than 200 students to the US. We have about 2,000 students who are currently in the program as members, as active members. And we've also been able to get over 200 million in terms of tuition fee waivers and graduate assistance scholarships through the universities that we work with. So when you come through the Kenya Lift program, I said you must have scored at least a B in KCSE, B in math, blah, blah, blah. And if you join in and you do the GMAT or GRE exam, we'll still take care of your relocation expenses. But we get students who scored a C+, for example, and they want to go to America. So what we normally say is, if you have a C+ and above, or if maybe you even scored an A, but you don't want to do these GMAT, GRE exams, you can come we have a regular option and parallel option of the program. So if you come in, you scored a C+ and above, you come in as a parallel student.
Yeah.
A parallel student, usually we don't take care of their relocation expenses. We take care of their tuition and living. On the other side, relocation, we don't. And they don't have to do GMAT or GRE exam.
That is a parallel student.
Parallel student,
Yeah.
yes. Regular students are the ones that they have to sit for the GMAT exam. They must have scored at least a B mean grade with a B in math, B physics, whatever, all that. And we facilitate their relocation. Now, for regular students, those are the ones that actually right now, non-refundable is $600. So $500, if you decide to withdraw that one, you'll get it back. If there's no other expenses that you've incurred in the program. Now, if you're a parallel student, then the non-refundable fee for a parallel student is $1,100. Basically, and that's what we require.
Is that the whole fee?
The whole fee is for a parallel student. The
student.
whole fee is $1,600.
Yeah.
For a parallel student. The whole fee for a regular student is $1,100. And out of $1,100, $500 is refundable. For a parallel student, $1,600 is what they contribute for them to successfully relocate. And out of that,
In your office, she tried reaching you.
she
to
even
give,
reached out to
you know,
me.
and
I
then
mean,
you are
even I have
talking
actually her
rudely.
text messages.
Uh-huh.
I told her exactly what it is. I told her there's nothing that I can do. This is something that you signed up for.
Away from that, is there any correlation between Kenya Airlift program and the Finnish saga in Uasin Gishu, by the way?
Absolutely not.
Did
Absolutely not.
you see what happened?
Yeah,
What do you have to say about that, Bob?
I mean, since I came, I've been hearing about the Uasin Gishu issue. In fact, actually, we had discussions about this problem on TV. And I feel like for that program, it was a good idea, but the way it was executed was really not the best way. Because one, they were purporting to be a scholarship, and yet it was not. Students, I mean, parents are
Parents are
actually
paying
contributing
money.
over millions of
Yeah,
Kenya shillings
yeah.
to join into the program. And on the other side, they don't have enough funds to facilitate for them to study. So you can't have a student present to the embassy that they are funded through a scholarship, because actually that's what the embassy relies on for them to issue the visa. The same document is what the university relies on to issue you with the document for you that enables you to study there. So from the fact that they didn't provide the actual funding, they didn't know that there will be enough funding for the student to study, that was wrong. Because you can imagine now, students who are coming through the Kenya Airlift program, we said, for example, on average, it costs about that $1,000 for you to study in the US.
Yes.
And I don't know where you're going to get that money when you get there. You
And
see,
out
that's
of
very
30,000, you've just paid 1,600.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, where will the other money come from? You see.
From your perspective, what
Yes.
do you think would be the best approach for us, you know, in terms of just ensuring that we are pursuing education abroad, but with lots of integrity, you know?
Now, one thing, as an organization like ours, you know, there are standards that you have to adhere to as a Kenya Airlift program. And actually, we are certified by an agency called American International Recruitment Council. And we go through a lot of audit of our business processes. Basically, even refunds. Have we put those refunds where the students can read? Everything that we are charging, is the students seeing that before they join? So there's a lot of standards that we have to go through. And as those who are in this space, agencies and organizations that try to send students abroad, you need something like that, because even you as the student, you need to look at these things. Are these people certified? Are there standards that they have? Are there stringent measures they have to adhere to when they're dealing with you? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you really need someone who has the integrity. Because even to the universities themselves that we work with, you can imagine having a student who doesn't meet any qualifications coming through this whole process and going to the US, and they're not going to study. That doesn't look good to the university, and also doesn't look good to the program.
Doesn't look good to the country either.
Doesn't look good to the country as well, because that's even what will make the embassy even deny student visas, if they know that these things are happening. And we know there's so many people. I can't tell you how many people I get asking me of how to go to the US. They don't have any qualifications, nothing. And
So-
they want you to help them.
So now that you brought the question yourself, to the advice to those people looking to go abroad for their studies, what do you have to tell them?
See, going abroad is not an easy process. First of all, understand that it's a process that can take you so many, actually years. So be patient, because this process is not a process that you can actually wake up today and go to the US or abroad next month. It takes time. Patience is key, and especially in our program. Because even some of the students who actually withdraw, it's because they don't have the patience. Mtu anaenda ananyima visa once, ana withdraw. What makes you think that you'll get the visa for the first time? No, people like us, personally, I was denied visa 4 times. I got it at my 5th attempt.
I hope you learned something, and even as the quest for higher education abroad keeps going high, I hope you can do your due diligence before you can team up with a specific organization. Many thanks for watching today's show. Make sure you join us again every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Kenyan time, only on KTN News. And if you have a story you'd like to share with us, don't hesitate. Write to us through globetraction@standardmedia.co.ke or DM us on our social media platforms at globetraction or at KTN News KE. You can also tap that follow button to me on my social media platforms at Pasil Telewa on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok for more of behind the scenes and many other stories. But until then, I hope to catch up with you again soon, same time, same place. Bye-bye for now.